Suggest zero.
This is Ready Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, this universal life energy force. Welcome everyone from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, where we welcome all levels and all lineages. And today we have our guides. I am one of them, so you have a 2-for-1 special. So I am Tracy C. Wright.
And I'm Millie Pampina, still working on getting my voice back.
So today we have a fabulous guest who has been so gracious to be on our little podcast. And I had the privilege of meeting her several months ago when I moved here to El Paso. So it is Emily Kestler. She is a holistic nutritionist coach, personal trainer, and a Reiki master teacher. And she comes from one of my favorite places, New York City. And now she is based in this sun city of El Paso, Texas. Now she's spent 15 years with chronic health issues, as well as anxiety, depression, and eating disorders, which eventually led to this holistic spiritual path. Along her natural healing journey, she discovered this amazing modality called Reiki, which proved to be this missing link in her healing journey. And this is why Emma is so passionate about sharing Reiki and the holistic ways of approaching exercise and nutrition with others. Emma offers Reiki sessions, classes, and events, both virtually and in person in El Paso, as well as nutrition coaching and personal training. Welcome, Emma. It is such an honor for you to be here with us today as we begin this Ready Set Reiki journey. So,
thank you so much.
So our first question that we have for you is, I got a little blurb here about you, but, have us tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, where do I begin? I've always been interested in wellness and spirituality and food and nature. And, I always knew that I wanted to do something with all of that. I just didn't know how. And, a little bit about myself. Well, the work that I do and all of these interests that kind of blend together, that is who I feel like I am. I feel very connected and one with nature and all the beings around me, and just our natural human selves of how we just are meant to move and enjoy food and be in community. That is really the essence of who I am.
Good. Wonderful. So tell us when Reiki came into your life. When did it knock on your door?
Yeah, so it was about maybe 2019 or 2020. I had been going through a lot of health issues for a long time, as you had mentioned. And I was listening to a podcast and I heard, I don't even remember the podcast, they were talking about it. I was like, Reiki, what is that? That sounds kind of weird. But something drew me to go to the bookstore and get a book. Actually, I have the book right here still. It's like a very basic book from Barnes and Noble that I kind of keep to remind me of how I started. So I felt like there was a missing link. Like, I had done all the physical, even mental things. I had gone to talk therapy and I had come pretty far with my healing journey, but there was something missing, and that ended up being Reiki. So from the time that I heard that word on the podcast, within a month, I was enrolled in Reiki 1. It was just very intuitive. I don't know what this is. This sounds really strange, but I'm drawn to it for some reason. I don't know how. And even at the time, I was like, I'm going to work with this somehow. This is going to be a part of what I do. So I just followed that nudge.
Perfect. And as you have learned about it and you've grown with it, there's always this perception of what Reiki is. What's out there. So do you agree with that common perception in the work of Reiki?
So I think the common perception is that it's woo-woo, right? I kind of hear that a lot. But there's actually quite a bit of research that has been done, and more is coming out, which I really love to see. That is what it does is it puts the body into this rest and digest state, the parasympathetic, so that the body can then facilitate its own healing. And I think, me included at the time, for someone who has no idea what it is, it sounds like this really mystical word. And I think when there are things we don't understand, we label it weird or strange or woo-woo or witchy. And that's not even necessarily a bad thing. But, I think there can be some stigma around these sorts of modalities. But it's really, once you actually get in there, it's a lot like meditation, and I think a lot more people are starting to realize that.
Yes. And so going out there, working, expanding your territory, coming from New York to here, what are you finding is the misconception about the work? So you had said about the woo-woo. Is that kind of the same thing with that? Or are you finding something else?
I get a lot of people who come to me, they need healing, they need help, they need guidance. And I think they have this, maybe almost put the practitioner, the healer, on sort of a pedestal, where it's like, we heal them. And I tell them, no, I don't heal you. You heal yourself. I just kind of guide you and show you things that you're not able to see yourself. So I think the misconception is that we are giving them our energy, but it's just the Reiki that's flowing through us as the channel, so that the energy itself can then heal them and make them see how they can heal themselves.
Right. I find that as well, as people are saying, thank you for healing me. And, you don't take that, thanks source, and, you're doing the healing as well. And I don't think there's the understanding of, like, when you are healing, you're in service, and when you're in service, you're healing. So you're getting that as well. It's a two-way street. So yeah, I find that as well. And so, our other question is, what do you wish your younger self knew about your current profession?
Yeah, so I am a perfectionist, and I would have liked to know that I can just learn as I go, and I don't have to be perfect, and that I'm going to make mistakes, and the intention is what matters. I'm very empathic, and I've always wanted to help people in whatever way it might be. And that's why I do all the holistic modalities. And I think when I started, I was very worried about, like, not getting messages for people and how are they going to feel, and all these different things. And as soon as I started to just relax, that's when it started going more smooth. But I think I tend to be hard on myself, and, just like anything else, it's new. Just go with the flow, take it day by day, and don't take it too seriously. It's supposed to be enjoyable.
Yeah, and just trust the process.
Exactly.
Also, too, when there's things that you worry about that you forget, always bringing in that distance symbol, that eraser, oh, I forgot to send him that. So let's put that back in.
Right.
So, what is something that everybody in your industry, in this industry of Reiki, should stop doing?
Oh, okay. And I thought about this before. Maybe it'll be controversial.
Yes.
But I see, I won't name the website, but there are websites where you can buy an online course. It'll be, really inexpensive, like $15, $25, something like that. And it'll be, Reiki 1, 2, and mastership.
Yes.
All it makes me so upset
Mm-hmm.
because that is not how you become a Reiki master. And then just thinking of all the work that I did,
Mm-hmm.
I took individual classes, then I spent a long time getting my Reiki mastership, and the money and the time and the energy investment, that does not happen from an online course for $35. And it's not even about the money. It's more of the energy aspect
Right.
of it. So I don't like to see that.
Right. Yeah, like we had a guest on a few weeks ago, and she had said, her issue as well was, getting trained in a weekend to go out and teach. So that what bothered her as well. So that seems to be something we're seeing in the industry as well. And the first night that we met, we even discussed about, the lack of consistency where you were a 3 and I said I was a 4 and you had never heard of a 4. And I had explained that I had a whole internship. So I meet people that are a level 3 that have the attunement, and then some who've never even heard of a level 4. So that's kind of why I kind of go back to William Rand, because you have that consistency with it. If you learned Holy Fire, whether you live in Germany, California, or New York, we all learn from the healing touch, and there's no discrepancy in it. So what is something that people in our industry should start doing?
So kind of similar to this, right? There are all these different lineages. And I think I don't know, maybe not everyone or everywhere, but kind of this like better than, this one's better than that one. And that's not really been my experience personally, but I have seen it. And that's not the point of this work. The point is to connect humanity and heal humanity individually. And then if you're creating this hierarchy of, oh, you trained in this way and I trained in that way, like that's better, and then, yeah, kind of piggybacking off of, some people getting trained
Right
online for $10 and then a weekend training. And then, this whole internship, that makes me question like, oh, did I do it wrong? But it's like, my intention is the same and I still learned all the same things.
Yes.
So I don't know. I still kind of go back and forth with this.
Yeah, I always tell my students that, you can take 10 of us, line us all up. We may do everything differently, but, we're exactly what our clients need. So we're not doing it wrong. So it is our intention behind it. So, if they go to someone else and they learn something a little bit different, that's perfectly fine. We all have our gifts to share with the world. So, again, it's your intent and you just trust the process. So you are exactly what your clients need, and they come to you because they just love who you are and everything about you. So all good. So in this world of Reiki, what do you think the biggest challenge in this industry we're facing today?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh gosh, Reiki master.
Yeah, I think maybe similarly, we could, and this is also a struggle like in my other industries with personal training.
Yes.
And, at the end of the day, it's still going to be better to have someone with you physically checking your form, and maybe someone can, I don't know, I don't really know, but as soon as it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but as soon as it came out, I just felt like I don't like this.
Yeah,
this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
For the
Many in
holistic
Hollywood
space.
think the same thing too. You like replacing writers and things like that. So yeah, it's coming. Yeah, and I mean, you do coaching and fitness as well, and I also do yoga, and I'm finding that as well. And I mean, in El Paso, we have a lot of free things, free yoga, which is fantastic. But it also hurts those of us that are trying to run a business as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with that. You want it accessible to everyone and affordable for everyone, but then by making it free everywhere, it's kind of hurting the other businesses. But
right.
Yeah, and the same thing with Reiki too. I'm finding like no consistency in the pricing as well. So I had someone message me and say, "Well, hey, why do you charge this when this particular person charges that?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not sure what their class entails." And I came here and I was told my prices were too low, so I
Mhm.
raised them. So you know, it's just really subjective. So, when it is time for you to get a Reiki treatment, what are some of the qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner? So, I know I always come in for a tune up. so, so what do you look for?
Well, I have my list of people already, but it's not necessarily traits, although I can name them. It's more of a feeling. Um, Definitely someone who's humble, someone who has or adopts a beginner's mindset of not like you're the client, I'm the practitioner. And I've done this before. I don't even tell them that I'm a Reiki master. I just go.
I've done that
Um,
too.
it's really fun. And then yeah, someone who's humble, like humble, empathetic, open, you know, doesn't think they know it all just because that's what they're doing.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like I'm always learning and there's always something, some new direction to grow. Um, so I guess someone with that similar mindset.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's a teacher. We always learn from everyone. So, all your experience receiving Reiki, giving Reiki, what advice would you give someone who is just entering this profession?
Similar to what I would have told my younger self was to not take it so seriously and to just follow your intuition. So if you're drawn to a specific teacher or a specific, modality or lineage, rather, be it holy fire or sui, just follow that and, take it day by day. At the time I knew nothing about energy work, sage, what was that? I had no idea. Just following those little nudges, people you want to connect with, places you want to work, places you want to surround yourself in. So just trusting the process, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, all about intent. I've had students that they'll really look at the manual and study it. And I had one that, she just highlighted it, underlined it, and she did a practice session. And I said, you know what? That manual of mine, I just want you to toss it. just, I know it's my work, but toss it aside. I want you to use this right here.
Mm.
I just want you to use this. Let it go, let it flow, follow your intuition. So, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, trust the process with it. So, our next question is archangels. I don't know if it's part of your practice, but do you have a go to archangel that you
I
like?
do. See, it's interesting. I didn't learn about that in my training, but in kind of like a separate psychic development course, I did learn about all of that. And I call upon Archangel Michael all of the time before every healing session that I do for myself or for someone else. Archangel Michael, please protect my energy, the client's energy, please clear the space. I do all of that. And even if I'm in a situation where I feel kind of something isn't right here, I feel a little uneasy, or even when I'm just feeling anxious in my day-to-day life, I'll call upon Archangel Michael.
Wonderful. He's so busy between the three of us on this. I don't think he gets any vacation days. All right. Well, you had shown us a lovely book in the beginning, and those of our viewers that are listening, this question is, what books do you recommend?
Yeah. So is this just Reiki related or?
Anything, you know what? Again, you have many things that you are talented at that you offer, and bring it on up that in your journey that you feel that you wished your younger self would have had. So,
Yeah, so I have my two. This is the Healing Power of Reiki, the first book that I got at Barnes and Noble, and I had no idea what it was about. Um, yep, I read it. I was like, this is so strange, but I still want to continue.
End it with it.
And then I referred to this during my mastership training, the Reiki source book.
Wonderful.
It's very, very in depth, a lot about the history. And of course, as a lot of the history was at the beginning, word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been some, I guess, discrepancy about what's true, what's not,
Sure.
what's been, made up or embellished.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really, really interesting to read.
Right.
So that's just kind of like a good source book to have. And then just spirituality. There's a couple books. The Untethered Soul
Okay.
is a favorite of mine.
Nice.
And then this book called There Is Nothing Wrong with You by Sherry Huber,
Right.
which is more like, I don't want to say philosophy, but definitely spirituality related. And that I feel like is helpful for anyone to read, because I feel like there is this idea in society that, for example, oh, I'm anxious all the time. Well, then there's something wrong with me. There's something I need to fix about me. No. So that's the premise of the book. And it goes into all these different loopholes. So those would be definitely my favorites.
All right, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Now, our last one is, where can somebody find you if they're interested in doing a session or training?
The best way would be social media. So my Instagram, Emma's_remedy, or you can email me, old fashioned, or through my website. I'm assuming you're going to leave that, the
Of course, we
links
will have
and
it in
all
the
of that.
link. And then tell us about all the different things that you offer. So before we started, I told Millie about the wonderful thing that you do with a fantastic sound healer in El Paso. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so in El Paso, I do a monthly Reiki sound bath with a friend and colleague of mine, Cesar Lujan, who you just met. So that's every month. And then I offer one-on-one Reiki sessions in person in El Paso, as well as virtually. And then I also do Reiki 1 certification courses, and I have one coming up June 17th.
Perfect.
And then I'm also a personal trainer, so I offer that in person, and then I also do virtual fitness and nutrition coaching.
Wonderful. Are the sound baths, I noticed you were offering them online. Are you offering them online as well, the once a month sound bath?
Yeah, so there is a virtual option. So what we do is we record the session and then you can tune in live.
Yes, so definitely check that out, viewers. So magical. All right, well, thank you so much for answering our questions, our Ready Set Reiki questions. And I'm going to turn you over to the magnificent Millie, who has our social media questions. So we put it up on Instagram, Facebook, on our website, and we are blessed enough to have some people that put in some questions, and I have to narrow it down to 3. So I'm going to send you right over to Millie. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll send you over to Millie now.
Well, there we go. Sorry, I still lost my voice here. And I really enjoyed your discussion, Emily. Thank you. Now I have some questions of my own, but I'm going to reach out to you through your contact information. We do have our questions today with respect to, what we gather from our audience on our social media feeds. And the first one I have, which I really like, is what are some of the common reasons people come to see you? I find that interesting. So what is your take on the common reasons that people might come and see you or should come and see you?
Mm-hmm. The common reasons that people come and see me, I get a lot of people who feel burnt out, kind of just tired, but don't really know why. A lot of just overall, I'm just stressed and I know I need to do something for myself, but I don't know what. And I felt like I should come to you. I get that. Anxiety is a huge one, where it's like they know they need to do something to relax, but they're, the common unhealthy things are not working for them anymore. And then also a lot of grief, people who have experienced some kind of loss, of a loved one, usually, or people who are going through some kind of transition, a relationship ending, things like that.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And again, I'd love to hear the comparisons because, where the fun of working with Tracy is we're in two different parts of the country. And it's interesting how some things are very, very common and some things aren't. So thank you so much. So if I came to see you as a client, how do you begin the session of a healing session with a client?
So first we have a little chat. So I ask them, what prompted you to schedule this session with me? I kind of leave it very open-ended so they can tell me why they're there. And then based off that, I'll ask follow-up questions. What have you been going through? How have you been feeling lately? And usually they'll tell me what's been going on in their life that prompted them to book a session with me. And then I'll ask them about their physical sensations. So, okay, so usually they'll have already said, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel stressed. Okay, where do you feel that in your body? So I'll kind of ask them things about that. And then they'll lay on the table, and then I'll guide them through a grounding meditation so they can drop in. And then that's when I begin the actual Reiki.
And with regards to that, what are some other ways that you have seen energy work help people?
Yeah, so aside from helping with stress, anxiety, grief, I've seen people gain a lot of clarity in their life around things that they weren't necessarily looking for clarity around. And it could be something so unrelated to emotions or spirituality. It can be something about career, or I want to move here, or, usually something that they weren't very aware of before. And then I've even seen people lose weight that they've been wanting to lose, which is really interesting. And that's not something I focus on necessarily, but I do bring energetic explanations into personal training clients who come to me and are like, I've done everything, I can't lose weight. Well, a lot of the time it's partially energetic. So I have seen that, which is it's been really interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I'll get my questions together so I can reach out to you.
Sure.
But thank you so much for joining us, Emily. And I appreciate all of your insight and how Reiki has helped define some of your offerings and given you some freedom within your practices as well. Generally, I like to leave people with my little tagline, which I'm going to hope my throat stays with me, which is, to see beauty in everything is a choice. So please choose wisely. And we appreciate your valued time, and, hope to be working with you again in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. So it's nice we can collaborate and expand your territory for all these clients that are going to be coming your way. So thank you so much. So thank you everyone for joining us. Look up Emma's Remedy. Check her out. You can find us on our www.reiki ReadySetReiki.com. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We'll have her information so that you can find her. So thank you so much for joining us. So I was guide number 1, Tracy Seawright.
And I am guide number 2, Millie Pampina.
And this has been Ready Set Reiki.